Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Thank you for watching one more video in this channel and I really appreciate your support. So as you must have seen from the thumbnail, in today's video, I am going to talk about the relationship of Alberta Advantage Immigration Program nomination or application and its relation with a work permit. I have seen a lot of questions coming up related to work permit for those people for whom the PNP, Alberta PNP nomination is in progress. So they are very curious about their work permits and then whether a work permit is required while the Alberta PNP program is in progress, or a work permit is allowed under Aaip. So there are a lot of different flavor of questions that come up on the picture. So what I wanted to do is to make a video and kind of put this to rest once for all. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do now in this particular video, so you guys can keep watching. But as always, some quick housekeeping. This is the link for joining my channel if you can, and support me and enjoy some member exclusive perks. These are the WhatsApp groups. Pause the video and join the WhatsApp groups, be the part of the community, and I hope you guys are deriving a lot of value out of it. So let's now go to the topic of the discussion, which is Aaip and work permit and how they are related. So these are some of the points and some of the notes that I have prepared and which I will try and take you through. Okay, so the first point that I want to discuss and want to clarify it unequivocally is Aaip is a PR pathway or a permanent residency pathway and not a work permit pathway. So if you are looking only for work permit, Aaip is not for you. Aaip is for PR pathway and work permit is a temporary authorization. So I hope you guys are all aware of the difference between PR, which is permanent residency, and work permit. So I'm not going to go into that detail here, but you need to understand that Aaip is a PR pathway. Having said that, it's not that the PR pathway and work permit pathway are miles apart, right? I say that because for various Alberta immigration programs pathways, valid work permit is required. So you should have a valid work permit. Like for example, if you're applying under AOS or under the new tourism and hospitality pathway or rural renewal scheme, you must have a valid work authorization in Canada. That goes without saying. But this means that your work permit can be kind of a precursor to your PR pathway. So if you already have a work permit, if you are already working in Canada, then there are certain pathways that open up for you. For example, AOS and the new tourism and hospitality and rural renewal scheme. So this is one of the relationships where work permit is required for a Alberta immigration pathway, right? So now, what about those people who already have a work permit and whose work permits are due for renewal? So does Alberta immigration programs helps in any ways? So the short answer to that is both yes and no. Okay, we say that because Aaip approval. So for example, you applied for AOS and you got your nomination approved, and once your nomination is approved, say after 3 months, your work permit is getting over, right? This doesn't mean that your work permit is automatically renewed, right? Or this doesn't also mean that if, for say you are under Alberta Express Entry, you are applying from outside the country, outside Canada. So this doesn't mean you automatically get a work permit also, right? So Aaip approval just means that Alberta has nominated you for a PR. They have not nominated you for a work permit. Work permit is something that you work out with your employer. Okay, work permit is not you work out with a province. So you will have to work with your employer and to get the work permit, get the work permit that you want. Okay, so this is very important to understand that even if you have a Alberta immigration program approval, it doesn't always mean that your work permit is automatically approved. You will have to work for it. And that brings us to the second point also, which you would see repeated many times in all of the Alberta programs, is that it's very important to not let your work permit expire. Okay, be very, very careful. There are certain streams in which your valid status in Canada is required. Right. So if you have a valid work status in Canada, which means that you have a work permit, it's very important that you don't let that work permit expire. Okay, so very, very important. So that has to be kept in mind, and which also means that keeping work permit current, keeping work permit updated and approved is your responsibility. Okay. Having said that, does this means that AIP is of no use or no advantage if you are applying for a PR? No, it's not like that. And again, that I say because AIP, I will take you through the AIP website also, where they talk about this in detail. So AIP has provided couple of options, in which there are two options which could be important for you. So the first is the Bridging Open Work Permit. So Bridging Open Work Permit, or BOWP, as the name suggests, is an open work permit which helps you to be in Canada till your PR is approved. Okay. Now, is this available for all Alberta nominees? The answer is no. It is available to all the nominees who have already applied for PR. Okay. Again, take that person's example who has just got a nomination under AOS and his PR is expiring in 3 months. So if within 3 months he has applied for PR, which means that he has applied to IRCC for PR, has paid all the fees, and he has got something called the AOR. AOR is acknowledgement of receipt. So if he is something who is called a AOR holder, who holds a AOR, then he can apply for something called a Bridge Open Work Permit, which means that this would now be an open work permit, and this is valid till his PR is approved. So this just helps the candidates to bridge the period between the work permit expiry and the PR process. Okay, so these are two of this is one of the options of where your AIP nomination can ultimately help you in the work permit renewal. So this is again something that you should be aware of. Right? So this is a good option for you. So here is one example where your work permit and AIP works together, right? But again, this is not automatic. Again, I have to stress that point enough. This is not automatic. You have to do it. Okay, you will have to apply for a Bridge Open Work Permit, and then if you have a AOR, you can get a Bridge Open Work Permit. Again, it's a can get, it's not will get. You will have to satisfy different conditions for your Bridge Open Work Permit also. Okay. And after this, if this Bridging Open Work Permit for some reason doesn't work, then there is something called a letter of support, which you can request the province to give. Now, province gives a letter of support on a case-to-case basis to the successful nominees. So if you have a Alberta nomination and for some reason you are not able to work with your employer, you're not able to apply for Bridge Open Work Permit or any other reason, and you need a document to extend your work permit, then you can request for something called a letter of support. I will take you through the official websites also where I have gathered this information. This information is not from thin air. This is the official version, and I will take you through the official version where in the websites it has mentioned. And again, as I say in all my videos, don't believe me. Believe what you see on AIP website, and I will walk you through that. So the last is the letter of support, which on a case-to-case basis, province, you may request the province and province can give it to you. which will help you to extend your work permit. Okay, so this is also very important. Okay, so these are the basic points I wanted that you should know. And now let's go to the main website. Okay, let's go to the main website and see what is the official version, whether what I'm saying is makes any real sense or not. Okay, so let's go to the website. So again, this is the same landing page, our known and trusted landing page of Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. So if you come here and if you see all the different streams here, okay, now let's open any one stream. Okay, let's open the most popular stream here, about Alberta Opportunity Stream. So here is the eligibility and everything. Now there is a section called after you are nominated. Click here after you are nominated, and then under this you will see something called a extend your work permit section. If you click on extend your work permit section, here you will see whatever I was telling you earlier. So Aaip nomination is not an automatic work permit renewal. All nominees must apply to Ircc to keep the work permit current. If your work permit is up for renewal, you will have to work to get your work permit renewed. Now, this is the extension of work permit, and Aaip is saying that it is very important to not let your work permit expire. And then there are 4 ways. It is kind of advising, it's kind of an information. There are 4 ways in which the Aaip nominees understand this is a section which after you are nominated. Okay, so once you are nominated means your nomination is successful, right? After you are nominated. So after you are nominated, what do you have to do? You will have 4 options. Number 1, you renew your work permit with a new Lmia. So if your work permit was a Lmia based work permit, then you can renew it with your Lmia from your employer. So again, you will have to work with your employer to get your Lmia renewed, right? So if your Alberta employer has a new Lmia, you can apply to Ircc for work permit renewal. So this is really, so as soon as you have a work permit renewal, right? Next option is you can renew your work permit based on a Lmia exemption. Again, there are cases where people are exempted from Lmia. The prime example being intercompany transferees. So if you fall in that category, you can again apply for an extension with Ircc following the process and procedures and documentation of Ircc. So that is the second option. Okay. Third option is the bridge open work permit that I was talking about. So this option is available to all nominees in all streams who have applied for PR permanent residence. What this means? That for you to be able to apply for bridge open work permit, you should have the Aaip nomination, that is for sure, right? And you should be living in Canada. You should have a Ircc file number, and you should have a acknowledgement of receipt or the AOR. Okay, and then on top of it, there are some of the conditions and prerequisites requirements for Ircc, so that you will have to satisfy. So if you click on this link, it will take you to the website, and then you can see it from there. I'm not going there as it will kind of take us into a different rabbit hole. So, but what I wanted to explain here is that the bridge open work permit is an option for you if you are a nominee and you have an acknowledgement of receipt. In mostly, if you have acknowledgement of receipt and you are living in Canada, you should be able to satisfy other conditions. And then there are some of the steps of how to apply for bridge open work permit. And very important is to include your Aaip nomination, because bridge open work permit is only available to people who are already nominated by a province. You will have to pay your fees. And as it says, bridge open work permit is an open work permit. So just select open work permit when you are applying for a work permit. Now, if for any reasons option 1, 2, and 3 doesn't work for you, the last option is the letter of support. which is also called 204C. So section 204 subsection C, you may be eligible to receive a 204C, right? So 204C is a letter of support that province would give it to you, and with that letter you can renew your work permit. Again, this is not for granting your work permit, this is for renewal of your work permit. Okay, so you will have to renew the work permit, right? So if you don't have a work permit, you don't need to apply for 204C, right? As soon as you get, say for example, in Alberta Tech Pathway is open for people who may not be living in Alberta, right? Who might be living in a different place, different country altogether. So what will happen is, when you get your nomination from Alberta Tech Pathway, you also get a letter of support. Okay, so that is the option. So if only under Alberta Tech Pathway, you get a automatic 204C or the letter of support, and then with that you can submit your work permit application, right? If you have a work permit, if you already have a valid work permit, then it's not automatically given to you. You will have to apply for it. Okay. Again, there is no guarantee that the letter of support will be issued. This is not your right. This is Aaip will consider your case. If you apply for it, you consider your application and then say yes or no. Right? And then there are certain conditions related to the work permit which you can read here. So like how to request a letter of support, how do you do it online, and things like that. There is $100 fee for the letter of support, okay, which you have to pay online. There is a paper option also, and paper option fees is also $100, but $100 you have to pay online. Okay, and once you have submitted your request, once you have completed your request, you just email it to this email ID, and then you can be asked a question, or there could be additional information that can be asked. Okay, so once you got your letter of support, with that letter of support, you can either apply for renewal of a work permit or a new work permit altogether. Okay, so these are the 4 options available for work permit holders under different pathways. And this, I just took an example of AOS, right? So this is under AOS. But if you go into any other stream of Alberta, like for example, let me go through the newest stream, tourism and hospitality stream. If I go under here also, see here also there are the same things here, right? So there are the same things that you have to, that you have those 4 options of not here, after you apply, right? Let me just see there, after you apply. Yeah, after you apply, right, you can change, you have to extend your work permit, right? So this is what is available to you, and there are these 4 options as always. So all this option is available to all the nominees. So again, all the nominees, so who are nominated, right? So you first have to figure, if you are nominated, this question would arise only if you are nominated. So once you are nominated, you will have to work with your employer to extend your work permit. If that is not possible, apply for a bridge open work permit, and even if that doesn't work for some reason, you apply for a letter of support, unless you are a tech pathway candidate who already has a letter of support. Okay, so these are the 4 options available to you, right? And I hope that the question is now clear, that whether Aaip and work permit are the same, right? And one more question that comes up many times is that, can my work permit application and my PR application go ahead parallelly? Yes, it can go ahead parallelly. There is no restriction on that. These two are two different processes. One is temporary visa, another is permanent residency. So these two applications can go on parallelly, but obviously, yes, since it's for the same person, the information should not be conflicting, right? So make sure everything matches up in both of your applications. So that is the main thing that you should take care of, and which is very logical, right? Okay. So that's it on this particular video. I wanted to discuss this in quite a bit of detail so that in future also, if you're watching it 6 months down the line, this information is still helpful for you. And this is just a logical discussion I wanted to have. This is not a very critical or technical discussion. Just wanted to know, tell you that what options are out there, and I hope this would be helpful for you. So till then, till the next video, I'll see you again. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.